All right, I'll start presenting in just a few moments as soon as everybody gets in the room. This is my largest class, so it's going to take a moment. All right, thanks everybody for coming tonight. I really appreciate you being here. My name is Mr. Jake. I'm teaching 8th grade United States history. I had previously taught 6th grade, and I've been teaching 8th grade. The first time I taught 8th grade was 1997, so that kind of dates me there. This is my 22nd year teaching, and I'm super excited to be here, especially with the 7th period class. This class is a very large class, but I'm familiar with most, if not all, of the students in this class, and I feel like they're gonna make me work for my money because they've got great questions and they're all super excited about learning. So I'm excited about that. I'm going to start sharing my screen and start giving you some information about me and my websites and everything that we need to be able to be successful in Mr. Jake's US history class. I'm starting with Alma. I sent out an email on August 18th, and it had some important links in it. And so those links are here on Alma on what's called the bulletin. And this is a new thing that Alma has put out, and it's actually really convenient because here on the bulletin, you can go to the website link, you can go to the Zoom link. I keep one Zoom link. It's a personal meeting room so that it's always the same. And I had a parent ask me for the other contact info, the numbers, because she had a problem, her daughter did, in getting in the class today. So I'm going to make sure that I put those, the personal meeting ID numbers someplace, and make that accessible to you as well if you have a problem with getting in. The last link here is Google Classroom. So first I'm going to show you my website while I'm letting a couple more people in. All right, this is my website. And this is a place where we're going to find materials for students as they need them. Right here on the left is your bar for looking around. Social studies is at the top. There's a place for your textbook links. We use History Alive as a textbook, but I think that you'll realize that in my class, especially because the world has changed just over the summer in so many ways, that we're going to probably not use the textbook as much as we might have in the past. And we're going to use a lot of found resources that I've been putting together. I've been waiting, chomping at the bit all summer to be able to put this stuff together. So I'm super excited to be able to show off some of the amazing things that your learners are going to get to learn. So this is the website. They're going to use it for materials mostly. The most important spot for your students to be is here. This is where the magic happens. This is Mr. Jake's Social Studies, period 7. And this is where they find their assignments and they turn in their assignments. Some of the stuff that has been, this website right now, Google Classroom is a little different than the other ones I've shown the students today because I didn't see your kids today. I don't see them till tomorrow because they're a 7th period class. So it's got thrown me a little bit, but I'm going to show you some more information. First, I have a letter here that I'm going to send out tonight that I was going to read to everybody, and I actually made a loom and read it. And then when I looked at it, and I just played it for a couple classes, and my wife looked at it, it's not as great as it could be. So I'm going to spare you guys the loom video from 10 a.m., and I'm just going to talk. My name is Mr. Jake Powell. I have the pleasure and privilege of teaching 8th grade U.S. history at Hall Middle School this year. I'm very excited to be starting my 3rd year at Hall, and it'll be my 22nd year overall as an educator. I've taught social studies and language arts at both the middle school and high school levels in the past. Our historical journey starts an exploration of geography of the United States and also the societies that existed in the Western Hemisphere before European exploration led to the colonization of the quote unquote New World. All right, so this is just kind of a background about me and some expectations in class. The main thing that I worry about and I want in class is making sure that it's a respectful environment for all students. As long as we have respect for each other, then any information and any flow of information that's going on in class is going to be great. And I'll tell you, the year has started out wonderfully. Students have been on point and in class, and I'm super excited after already a week and a half that I'm not seeing absences, I'm seeing students engaged, and that's really exciting. All right, I'm going to show you my syllabus here. I pulled this from the new framework that was passed in California in 2016, and I kind of built this to be my own because after the summer that we've had, I've been really excited with thinking about a new way to look at history. You will confront the themes of freedom, equality, and liberty and their changing definitions of time. You will be taught that history is an investigative discipline, one that is continually reshaped based on primary source research and on new perspectives that can be uncovered. You will be encouraged to read multiple primary and secondary sources to understand multiple perspectives and to learn about how some things change over time and others tend not to. You should appreciate that each historical era has its own context, and it's up to the student of history to make a sense of the past on these terms by asking questions about it. So I built that introduction for the students because it's a different era just in the last 5 months. I pulled up an article that I used to show from 2016 talking about the inability to tell fake news from real. This is not students, this is you and I. Like, we can't do this ourselves. How do we disaggregate data so that we can come to some solid conclusions with evidence? So another article which I thought was really pertinent is why you can't Google your way to the truth. Like, Google is not the answer to trying to find truths from a historical perspective. You got to go to the experts. So having worked in the TAM district previously, we were really into historical thinking skills in the TAM district, and we worked with the Berkeley History Social Science Project a lot, as well as the Stanford Social Science Project. And so I want to bring in some of these resources to your students, talking about evidence, talking about historical significance, talking about continuity in society and the changes that occur in society, sometimes very quickly, like we've seen in society just recently. And then especially, what are the ethical dimensions? I mean, if we just talk about the ethics of the last 5 months in our society right now, and what kind of conclusions we can draw about American society from what we've seen, we could make some really solid statements about where we might go in the future. And for me, history is not about studying the past for the past's sake. History is the lens that we can look towards the future so that we can develop ideas about what we think is coming towards us. All right, so syllabus, letter. I want to show you my grading system. This is our standards-based grading, and we're going to start with our own Hall content standards, all right, talking about research and inquiry, talking about our connections and interrelationships, identity and perspective. And identity is something that we're starting with in language arts, talking about what does it mean to be an American. So it's actually really exciting to be able to do those in tandem, have the language arts piece and have the historical piece in my class. We're also talking about understanding of events, places, and people, and then social structure and culture. And then below that, I have listed the 8th grade standards that are from the California State Content Standards. And those are incorporated in the document that I showed you here on my syllabus when I talk about our units of study. All right, is it really 9 minutes in? I think it is. So are there any questions from the group that I can answer? Anybody, the best way to get a hold of me is to email me. I definitely respond to emails in a timely fashion. And I think that you would get the most from me if you email me first.
I have a question.
Please, Susan, go right ahead.
Thank you so much. Okay, so the kids yesterday or a couple days ago wrote a response about Mount Rushmore. How do you give feedback to them? Is it only on Alma and through that grading system that you talked about? Or do they ever get, I know it's kind of hard now the way things are done, do they get like anything edited on a piece of paper or on what they turn in? Or is it just basically on a grid format saying you did this right, you didn't do this right? How does that work?
So I connect rubrics to all assignments, and those rubrics are on the standards themselves. But in writing, when they submit Google Documents, they're definitely going to get a response, and it's actually really easy to do. If I go to Classroom and I open up the assignment that you're talking about, I see student responses here, and this class, people have turned it in. In fact, I see your son's response here. And when I open this up, it becomes a separate window, and this window allows me to make comments on what he's written himself before I give him a grade. All right. So, and I'm not going to show his work, but it's actually really easy for me to take the document that he submits and give him feedback on that document, not just the rubric feedback.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Certainly. Anybody else? I think it's 7:36, so we're really close to the end. You guys are troopers for making it all the way through 7 periods. But, we're happy to be here. So thanks everybody for showing up tonight. We really enjoyed having you, and I think it's going to be a great school year because in my class we have some really interesting topics to discuss.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right.
Thanks, Mr. Jake.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jake.
Thanks.
Everybody have a great day or
You too.
evening now. It's almost night. All right, we're having fun.